Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In some Chinese historical dramas, we often see guards who can run up walls and leap from rooftops. These highly skilled martial artists are specifically tasked with protecting the emperor and empress, known as the Imperial Guards. While these scenes may seem exaggerated, there indeed existed such protectors in history. The identities of the emperor and empress are noble, making their safety paramount. Therefore, it is essential to have highly skilled individuals to safeguard them. Taking the last imperial guard of the Qing Dynasty, Gong Baotian, as an example. His martial arts prowess was truly remarkable. According to historical records, during the late Qing Dynasty, China implemented a policy of self-imposed isolation, which hindered the country's development. Meanwhile, Western nations rapidly rose to power through the Industrial Revolution and began expanding outward. This made the Qing dynasty, still entrenched in feudal society, a target for invasion by Western powers. Initially, after Britain flooded China with opium, the Chinese spirit was crushed. However, after Lin Zexu's opium destruction campaign at Human, Britain used this as an excuse to send an expeditionary force. In June 1840, 47 British warships and 4,000 troops, led by Rear Admiral George Eliot and the British consul in China, arrived at the mouth of the Pearl River in Guangdong, blockading the harbor and starting the Opium War. This successfully opened the door to China. In 1900, the Eight-Nation Alliance invaded China and advanced toward Beijing. Empress Dowager Cixi and Emperor Guangxu were forced to flee in a critical moment. During their escape, they inevitably encountered invading troops and opposition forces. At this time, one of Guangxu's personal guards, Gong Baotian, stepped forward. Using his exceptional martial arts, Gong Baotian fought alone against dozens of enemies, instilling fear in them. Under his and other guards' protection, Emperor Guangxu and Empress Dowager Cixi successfully navigated through multiple crises and ultimately escaped to Xi'an. A year later, the Qing court signed the Boxer Protocol with the Eight-Nation Alliance, once again conceding territory and paying indemnities, which allowed the alliance to withdraw from Beijing. Cixi and Guangxu returned to the Forbidden City with their officials. Upon returning to the palace, Gong Baotian and the other guards received commendations. Gong Baotian was awarded the Yellow Jacket by the emperor and promoted to Chief of the Imperial Guards, officially recognized as the #1 Master of the Imperial Guards. According to relevant historical materials, Gong Baotian was raised in a humble household and attended a private school in his youth. At 13, through a local introduction, he became an apprentice at a rice shop. Gong Baotian was strong and hard-working, earning the owner's favor. This rice shop owner was not an ordinary person. He had a notable status and supplied rice to various royal courts. As a favored apprentice, Gong Baotian often delivered rice to different residences, allowing him to meet many people from the royal houses, including Yin Fu. Yin Fu was not just anyone, he was a martial artist who had studied under Dong Haichuan, the founder of Baguazhang, 8 trigram palm. Upon first meeting Gong Baotian, Yin Fu immediately recognized his exceptional physique and potential for martial arts. Over time, he also discovered Gong Baotian's good nature, prompting him to consider taking him as a disciple. Naturally, he could not do so without consulting his own master. Thus, Yin Fu explained his intentions to Gong Baotian, and with his consent, took him to meet Dong Haichuan. Dong Haichuan was highly pleased to see Gong Baotian and allowed his disciple to accept him and teach him well. And so, Gong Baotian began his martial arts training. Yin Fu was very strict with him, starting with the basics and ensuring Gong Baotian practiced diligently. Gong Baotian never complained of fatigue and earnestly followed his master's every instruction. It is said that Yin Fu would give Gong Baotian a wooden bowl every day. If the bowl wasn't filled with sweat, his practice could not cease. Gong Baotian had many senior apprentices who were moved by his intelligence and perseverance, willing to impart their unique skills to him. After 5 years of hard study and practice, he progressed rapidly in his martial arts. Dong Haichuan noticed his talent and personally taught him the secrets and techniques of Baguazhang, making him the second-generation inheritor of the authentic Baguazhang. Thus, at the age of 23, Gong Baotian had mastered impressive skills, particularly in lightness martial arts, earning him the nickname Gong the Monkey. In the following years, Gong Baotian's fame grew, and even Empress Dowager Cixi and Emperor Guangxu in the palace had heard of his name. Consequently, Gong Baotian was summoned to the palace to become a palace guard. With his exceptional skills, he protected Emperor Guangxu. Later, due to his achievements in guarding the emperor, he was promoted to the leader of the palace guards and received the honorary yellow jacket. However, after witnessing the corruption of the Qing court during the Eight-Nation Alliance invasion of China, Gong Baotian was unwilling to remain in the palace and requested to resign under the pretext of personal matters. After leaving the palace, Gong Baotian returned to his hometown, where his martial arts skills were highly regarded by the locals. Many wished to become his disciples. Seizing this opportunity, he opened a martial arts school and welcomed numerous students. Although he received respect and offerings from his disciples, Gong Baotian still felt an inexplicable discomfort and was unaccustomed to his new life. Years passed, and Gong Baotian's life took a turn. Historical records indicate that in 1922, the warlord Zhang Zuolin from northeast China, having heard of Gong Baotian, invited him to serve as a martial arts instructor for the Fengtian army, effectively making him his bodyguard. When they first met, Zhang, seeing Gong's small stature and unremarkable appearance, doubted his martial prowess. As a result, Zhang decided to test this man who claimed to be the greatest master of the palace. Having previously served under Empress Dowager Cixi, Gong Baotian was adept at reading people's intentions. Therefore, he boldly told Zhang Zuolin, "I'm quite curious to see how powerful your pistol is." The people around them gasped, saying, "Isn't he walking into the line of fire?" Zhang, looking at the over 50-year-old Gong Baotian, found the situation quite incredible. However, Gong Baotian confidently stood up, full of spirit, and walked directly about 20 steps away from Zhang, urging him to shoot at him. Zhang Zuolin was no stranger to danger and, seeing Gong's confidence, did not hold back. He stood up and asked if he could shoot. Gong readily replied, "Just go ahead." Zhang was an exceptional marksman, confident he could hit Gong from 20 steps away. But to his surprise, at the moment he pulled the trigger, Gong Baotian dodged with a swift motion, and the bullet missed him entirely. Zhang fired several more shots, but none hit Gong. He was about to continue shooting when Gong said from behind him, "If I wanted your life, you probably wouldn't need to turn around." Everyone was astonished at Gong Baotian's skill. At that moment, Zhang Zuolin was thoroughly impressed and praised Gong without reservation, formally appointing him as the chief instructor of the Fengtian army. This Master of Masters later became Zhang Zuolin's personal bodyguard on many occasions, repeatedly saving him from perilous situations. In the spring of 1928, Gong Baotian was ordered to stay in Beijing to guard Zhang Xueliang. Following the Huanggatun incident in 1928, when Zhang Zuolin was assassinated, Gong Baotian, who was not present, was deeply saddened upon hearing the news. He then resigned a second time and returned to his hometown during Zhang Xueliang's retreat. In his later years, Gong Baotian organized dozens of grassroots Baguazhang schools in Haiyang, Muping, and Yantai, widely recruiting disciples, teaching martial arts earnestly, and training a large number of Baguazhang practitioners. His notable disciples included Wang Zhuangfei from Shanghai and Jiang Shenggu from Guangxu, who spread Gong's Baguazhang worldwide. Gong Baotian passed away on June 27, 1943, the 25th day of the 5th lunar month, in Qingshan village, at the age of 72, and his remains were buried in his hometown. Gong Baotian's life was indeed remarkable. As the last great master of the Qing Dynasty, he showcased extraordinary martial arts skills, earned the admiration of the world, and became a historical figure worthy of remembrance. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone, and see you in the next time.